Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are gathered together today for the Edgewalker Café with Monica Ross and Rhona Graham. And this is a really special time. And we are talking about the Celtic season of the harvest, and Monica and Rhona are going to explain more about what that means in the Celtic calendar and in terms of the spiritual circle around the sun. And I met Monica. Actually, Monica, I can't even remember how I met you. But it's been several years now, and I feel like I'm a student of Monica's, and also we have co-coached each other. We support each other and learn so much from each other. And I just feel really blessed to have Monica in my life and in our Edgewalker community. She is a certified Edgewalker facilitator and uses Edgewalker work with her clients and her retreats. And last year ran a magnificent Edgewalker retreat in Ireland. And that's where I met Rhona, who's also a friend and co-teacher and colleague of Monica's. And so we have become friends and co-teachers and fellow travelers in this Edgewalker realm of walking between worlds and building bridges between worlds. I also want to mention Peggy O'Neill, that is on this call, is a certified Edgewalker facilitator, as is Ellis Ralph. And I think we'll have more people come in. Ellis Ralph is my husband. And I don't know you, Linda. I'm just so glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. And so I'm going to turn it over to you, Monica and Rhona, for the sacred time that we spend together. Thank you so much for offering to hold sacred space with us at this time of the year.
Thank you so much. And yeah, it feels very special for us to be here. I always have a candle lighting, and I know you have one lighting. Rhona would have one lighting if she wasn't in a hotel room. We always have fire around us. I'm wearing the color of fire. So, this is the time of the year for harvest. So I'm going to put the candle over here for safety so I don't burn myself or cause an accident. And I'll just begin to share the slides, and we'll speak more about this amazing harvest season known as Lammas and also known as Lughnasadh, which are Celtic words. So Lammas and Lughnasadh. And Rhona and myself just thought we'd spend a moment or two kind of explaining how we know each other and why we're offering this together. So Rhona, if you want to jump in and say something about, how we met and how we're connected.
Yep. So thank you very much, Judy, for welcoming us this afternoon. Well, for me, it's this afternoon. I'm currently in France, so middle of the afternoon. So I first met Monica back in 2009, I think it maybe was, maybe slightly later than that. Again on a retreat, we seem to cross over quite regularly on retreats, and it was run by a mutual friend of ours, a woman called Amanda Ridings, who you may or may not have heard of, who's deeply involved with dialogue work and leadership embodiment work. And that was what the retreat was on. So Monica and I met on that and have continued to then, on our journeys, cross over and interweave through the realms of dialogue, leadership embodiment. And then more recently, through our interest, as you can see from the pictures there, our interest in some of the Indigenous cultures, we ended up on a course, an online course with a man called Chief Phil Lane from the Dakota tribe, and he ran during the COVID times, ran an online course about talking circles. And that's when Monica and I started to co-host things together, and have since then run talking circles on a regular basis based on the Celtic Wheel of the Year, which of course is our own Indigenous way or traditional way. So that's just a little bit of my connection to Monica and how come to the Celtic Wheel of the Year. I'll say more later.
And you know, our connection, as Rhona has said, has woven in and out of many things. And we discovered we had an interest in we had both been working with a particular set of cards for about 15 years each without even knowing it. And the spiral you see there comes out of that set of cards. It's the one we'll run our retreat on later this year, the Sacred Path of the Spiral. And we had been using the journal and the cards as a way to map out our years energetically without even knowing that we were both doing it. And the other picture there is the flow game. So whenever I travel and whenever I'm at home, I often run flow games, which is based on consciousness. And it's also based on the medicine wheel. So you can see there are also rivers and the 4 directions. So we've had lots of connections. I've some training in esoteric healing and Reiki and Orasoma, and Rhona has worked with a lot of shamanic practices and earth-based practices, and for example, working with the Weaver's Trail and many others. So we have a lot in common, and there are also some things that we do that are just slightly different, but very synergistic. So that's just to give you a sense of us and why we're here. And the picture you can see of those lovely feathers, that's a monument to the Choctaw people in Middleton and County Cork during the time of the famine in Ireland in the 1845s. The Choctaw people who had nothing sent money to Ireland, to the starving people of Ireland. And during COVID, the Irish people sent some money to support the Choctaw people. So myself and Rhona made a pilgrimage to this monument a few years ago because it felt really important to us because our connection to the talking circles. So that's why I've included that. So again, that's just to give you a flavor of us.
And Monica, your voice is breaking up again. So if you move in closer to the mic.
I'll stick my chin over my laptop.
Thank you. Thank you. These are beautiful photos. Thank you for sharing them.
Okay. When I get passionate, I start moving around. So you'll have to rein me in every now and again. So I'm going to take a moment to open sacred space. It's one of the things that we always do whenever we have any ceremony, the talking circles or flow game or anything that we do together. So I'm going to, you may not know where East and West is in your place at the moment, but even if you don't, just close your eyes and sense into as I guide you to connect with the 4 directions, Father Sky, Mother Earth, and the Spirit at the center. And just let it flow through you and connect with the meaning it has for you. So just take a moment to feel your feet on the ground. Have a real sense of the connection to nature, to all our relations. And I'll start with the winds of the south. To the winds of the south, great serpent, wrap your coils of light around us. Teach us to shed the past the way that you shed your skin, to walk softly on the earth. Teach us the beauty way. And then to the west. To the winds of the west, Mother Jaguar, protect our medicine space. Teach us the way of peace, to live impeccably. Show us the way beyond death. And turning to the north. To the winds of the north, hummingbird, grandmothers, grandfathers, ancient ones, come and warm your hands by our fires. Whisper to us in the wind. We honor you who have come before us, and you who will come after us, our children's children. And turning to the east, to the winds of the east, great eagle, condor, come to us from the place of the rising sun. Keep us under your wing. Show us the mountains we only dare to dream of. Teach us to fly wing to wing with the great serpent. And then Mother Earth. Mother Earth, we've gathered for the honoring of all of your children, the stone people, the plant people, the four-legged, the two-legged, the creepy crawlers, the finned, the furred, and the winged ones, all our relations. And Father Sun, Father Sun, Grandmother Moon, the star nations, Great Spirit, you who are known by 1,000 names, and you who are the unnameable one, thank you for bringing us together and allowing us to sing the song of life. And now, if we all connect together, coming back into this circle and bring our hearts and our full being together, Spirit at the center, we give thanks for Spirit that nurtures and sustains us. Our achievements are a reflection of our connection to Spirit and the guidance that we receive from within. We reconnect to our inner world and the still point of inner peace. And we ask that we can find new and inspiring ways to integrate these into our daily lives. Aho. Thank you. And now I'm going to invite my dear Celtic sister and friend Rhona to guide you so that we all connect with the energies of this Sabbath of Lughnasadh and connect together.
So we're just going to do a very short guided meditation. So if you would like to make yourself nice and comfortable, if you're sitting, maybe just feel your connection to the floor and also to the connection that you have with your feet. And I'm just going to find my place. Sorry. Start connecting with your breathing. Find yourself nice and relaxed. As excuse me. So just let your breath slow and deepen. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel yourself arriving fully in this moment, letting go of the noise of the day, letting go of any expectations, and just be. In your imagination, see yourself walking a quiet path through nature. You are moving through tall grasses, warm with late summer light. Ahead you notice a natural border, a place where one landscape gives way to another. It might be a forest meeting a meadow, a river cutting through stone, a high ridge opening to sky. This is your threshold. Pause here for a moment. This place is calm, but full of quiet power. You are not where you were. You are not yet where you're going. You are in between, a place that the Edgewalkers know well. Let yourself rest here. There is no need to move, just to breathe. And as you stand here on this threshold, ask yourself, what in my life feels ready to be gathered? What progress, clarity, or growth can I recognize in myself? And ask, what might I need to release in order to keep moving forward? What am I holding that no longer fits the path ahead? You don't need to have the answers, just the awareness. Let thoughts or feelings rise and fall like waves. Now imagine looking out beyond the threshold. There's a path ahead, unknown, shifting, full of potential. Ask yourself gently, what kind of person do I want to be as I continue forward? What part of me is ready to emerge? Let whatever comes feel like a quiet truth, not forced, not perfect, just honest. And very gradually, just begin to bring your awareness back towards your body. Feel the weight of your limbs. Feel the breath moving in and out of your chest. Feel the ground beneath your feet, solid and steady. Know that you can walk the edge with presence and clarity. You are always becoming, and the path will meet you step by step. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes if you've had them closed and bring yourself back into our session here.
Thanks, Rhona.
Thank you.
Beautiful. And we're going to continue now and share with you the Celtic Wheel of the Year, which is what this, Lammas is one of the turns of the wheel. It's the 6th turn. So we'll both share a little bit about this wheel. So just bear with me while I call in the back to our. So the Celtic Wheel of the Year, as you can see, it's in 8 segments. And each segment represents a Sabbath or a festival. So it's 8 Sabbaths of 6 weeks each that make up the year. And it's a Celtic, which was very much connected to the land and to nature and Mother Earth. So when we align with the Wheel of the Year as we go through a year, we're very connected to Mother Earth and to the seasons and to what's true for each season and when to act and when to rest. And you'll be familiar with some of the turns of the wheel already. For example, you would have heard of the solstices and the equinoxes, the winter solstice, the summer solstice, which obviously will be different depending on which part of the world you're in. So while we might be now in Lammas, the other southern hemisphere might be in the springtime where they're beginning to plant seeds. We're harvesting, they're planting. So no matter where you are, you can follow this wheel of the year and be faithful to aligning your body and your energies and your actions with nature's rhythms. And Rhona, if you'd like to add a little bit more about some of the other lesser known.
Yeah, so as Monica says, there are the 4 that people are most familiar with, and then in between those, there are the other ones. And you may see that there is a kind of connection. These are ancient festivals, and there are connections that have been brought into other traditions and other religions as well. So, for example, Ostara, which we would know as Easter, perhaps in the Christian tradition. So Ostara is there. Beltane, maybe again aware of that. It's May Day. It's a time of abundance and fullness, and beginning to celebrate light and fertility, for example. Another one that some people might rather know as Halloween or All Hallows Eve is what we know as Samhain, and actually the beginning of Samhain is actually the beginning of the Celtic year, unlike the 1st of January. So it's the Celtic year begins as we go into the darkness, go into the shorter nights here, and the invite is to go inwards and to start doing some visioning work, some reflective work. What is it that we are going to manifest and bring out into the year? So we can really find that as edgewalkers, and using our skills and the qualities of edgewalkers, when we align these with the rhythms of the year, we find that becomes a kind of coherence within us and without us. So our inner and our outer worlds begin to align, and it can mean, therefore, that we can use these skills and qualities to their fullest potential, because we aren't pushing against an unnatural rhythm, if you like. So for example, in Yuletide, certainly here where we are, there seems to be an increase in energy, and people have to do this and that for Christmas and all of these things, when actually the rhythm of the year is quietening. So when we align, as I say, when we align with these energies, we don't have to battle against the outer noise, and we find a coherence within us. And it means that we can use our skills and qualities of an edgewalker to their fullest potential. And it can also give us an opportunity, it can give us space to develop any of these that we maybe feel that we need to work upon. Yeah, I think, as I say, it's easier to go with the flow, I think, when we're following the natural rhythms of our world, of our earth. And as Monica says, we're currently in the Sabbath of Lughnasadh, which is the time and celebration of harvest. So we're going to speak a bit more about that in our session together here.
I'll move to the next slide, and if the next slide will just share. And just to say welcome to those who've arrived in the meantime, Paulette and Rosemary and Dr. Kayanoush. Just to say welcome to you all while I get the slides back up. So as I'm preparing the slide to come back, Lammas means first loaf. That's where it came from, and it's the first bread that was made from the harvest. And Lughnasadh is about the god of light, and he dies at the end of the harvest and becomes the corn, which is it's sacrificed for the seeds which are planted at the start of spring. So there's a whole cycle to these. I'm just going to move us to the next 2 seconds. Whoops. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So here we have Lughnasadh is also known as Lammas, and in the past, and it still happens in Ireland, that on the eve of Lughnasadh, fires are lit to honor the corn mother, because she then gives birth to her harvest child, the grain, and that's the seed that will bring in next year's harvest, as well as the grain that becomes the bread and the hay that sustains life through the winter for people and animals. And we're going to invite you to begin your own harvest in a moment. So maybe just begin to close your eyes and bring to mind things that you're grateful for and people that you're grateful for. we're going to guide you to begin to connect with gratitude, because this is the time of gratitude. Sorry, my slides are disobeying me. But that doesn't matter, we can still do the exercise. So think about, from the start of this year, your heart's desires, the things that you wanted to bring in from the beginning, your hopes and dreams that you planted in the spring, the fruits of your labor, the things you've been working towards this year. Begin to, if you like, make a note or make a mental note of going back to spring. What was it that you wanted to bring into life? And just notice, as we're here in this season of harvesting, what has come to life? What have you manifested as an Edgewalker? Begin to count your blessings, and let's begin to give thanks for all that we are harvesting. So just note down a few things that you've noticed yourself bringing into life. And Rhona, if this obeys, and we'll continue. Oops. Can you read that, Rhona?
I can, thank you.
Yeah, so I invite you to take up, and this is linking to the Edgewalkers.
Yeah. So just as Monica says, just taking some time to remind yourself of the seeds that you'd sowed. So back maybe at the beginning of the year or in springtime, we use that the skills of knowing the future, of tapping into the signs and around us, and of our vision for what the world that we want to manifest, or what dreams and hopes that we hope to bring into life. We use that sense of vision to do that. And then again, that what has become manifest, how did you make that happen? And there's the Edgewalker skills and qualities of self-awareness, of risk-taking and focusing that you're all familiar with. And as well at harvest time, as well as manifesting and creating and things being brought to life, there's also an opportunity to look at what hasn't taken root for whatever reason. It may be that we want to leave things that maybe just need a bit more maturing, maybe another year of growth. It may be that something has stunted the growth of whatever it was that we were bringing into being, and we can take the opportunity to look at what that might, why that might have been, and what the outcome of that is. So again, using our qualities of self-awareness and integrity, so the aligning with the Celtic year allows us to align our Edgewalker qualities and skills as well. And if you just
sometimes, yeah, Rhona, I was just going to say, sometimes we choose to let something, lay on the tree for another while, that we choose not to harvest it because we want it to become the seeds for next year. We choose not to take advantage of it yet, because actually it could bring even more bounty next year if we allow it to mature a little bit more. So just take a moment again to note down anything that's coming into your awareness in relation to these aspects of harvest.
I think there might be some questions there, Monica, on the next slide, is there, for folk?
Yeah, we have some questions. And if my slides will behave themselves. I will go 2 seconds. Even if we're a bit slow. Yeah. There's some questions. Not sure what the tech is doing to us today.
Setting up.
Yeah, here are some questions for you. So take time to reflect on what other people or what conditions or what influences have had a part to play in your harvest coming to be. Because other people can be a huge resource for us, and that's, you know, the connecting of the Edgewalker. Who have you connected with and how have they supported your harvest? And what other conditions within your close family or externally or worldwide have been positive or maybe not so positive influences? What are the blessings you are counting? You know, we have so much to be grateful for. Even the small things. And what are the ways that you can practice gratitude even more? You know, sometimes we recognize and we have gratitude practices, but how can we extend those even more? What's one thing you could begin to do? Because when we give gratitude, we actually expand. It's almost like the universe gives us more when we're grateful. And now that you've discovered the Sabbath of Lughnasadh and Lammas, what are the ways you can celebrate it? Recently, myself and Rhona and 2 of our other Celtic sisters, we met face to face in Scotland just weeks ago, and we had our talking circle. And we had 3 days or 4 days of different practices, including making corn dollies to celebrate the harvest, and a flow game, and Lego serious play. But we celebrated ourselves and each other. So, yeah, Rhona, if you want to add some thoughts about how people might celebrate in simple ways for Lughnasadh. Oh, sorry, you're mute.
So I am. There are many different ways of celebrating, and it depends on your circumstances. So we can do our individual work, and one of the ways is journaling, using some of the similar prompts to the ones that we've offered here. I personally like to have a fire, and I set the fire in a very ritualistic way, and use the fire both to give the fire what it is that I'm harvesting. So the previous slide there about what it is that you've manifested, I share that with the fire, but I also share the fire with my gratitude and also what I might wanting to be releasing. So you can use the elements as a form of celebration. And if you have a group of people that come together, as you'll be gathering, this is very much about our harvest. So what can we all bring together? What can we, if you're a grower, if you're a garden, what can you harvest from your garden, or what can you harvest from, flowers and whatnot, to actually create a feast and a celebration. And we can use it to give gratitude for those physical things, but also we could share with one another what it is that we experience from other people, what it is that we are thankful for in our friends and families and colleagues and such like. So it's a great opportunity for sharing our gratitude, for counting our blessings, for sharing in the abundance that this time of year brings for us.
And I'm going to invite you now to just note down 2 things that you're grateful to yourself for. You know, bring some gratitude for you that you want to acknowledge. Sometimes we forget to bless ourselves. How have you been courageous? How have you supported others? How have you stepped into something that maybe was a stretch for you? How can you appreciate yourself? And give thanks for the gift that you are in this world. And in a moment, when you're ready, we might invite you to share some things, but just before that, we'll begin to look forward a little bit. So as we come to the end of this Sabbath, which will begin to move into the autumn equinox in the next few weeks, the sun is waning and moving into the dark half of the year. And that's very much a time for self-nurturing, for introspection, for cocooning and hibernating in preparation for the coming spring. So you begin to look inwardly instead of outwardly. The sun pulls in and the light becomes less. But we're in this womb of potential. We have the skill of knowing the future to begin to set our hopes and dreams for the new year. And maybe to strengthen what's already in place. Rhona, if you'd like to continue with the next 2 pieces, if you can read them as you reach mid-September.
So our invite to you as you do reach September, as the end of Sabbath, the Sabbath of Lughnasadh and the beginning of Mabon, as we know it, is really to deepen further into your harvest. Keep looking at what it is that you have manifested, and reviewing the year, half the year gone by. Look really below the surface, and just to really learn more and more about yourself, and about the person that you are, and about the person that you are becoming. And it's an opportunity for again to bring in some of the qualities and skills of Edgewalker. Is, you know, where are you on your path of integrity, of focus, of passion and playfulness? Are there any of these areas that you want to be developing and enhancing, so that next year you are making full use of all of those? So this time that we're moving into is an opportunity to do that. And as we learn more of the natural rhythms of our Mother Earth, it can, as I said at the beginning, it really helps us to stay aligned, and we connect into something deeply that in the outer world that we are living in at the moment, it sometimes seems that is not the world that we are, that you know, that we're connecting into something that is actually chaotic and not almost unnatural, if you like, in its energy. So with the wheel of the year and connecting with Mother Earth, then we can become more coherent within ourselves. And in that, and from that place and in that place, it means that we can do things differently. We can perhaps envision a better world for us all, and also in for ourselves, but also for the generations to come. It gives us a clarity, I think, that is sometimes difficult to find in the chaos of the world that we're living in at the moment.
So we'd love to hear now, maybe one or two or more shares of what's come to you while we've been inviting you to reflect here. And I'll take off the slides just so that we can see you better. Yeah, I know some of you came in a little bit later, and you're very welcome. So in the little bit that you've heard, what's stirring for you? What's arising about harvest and what you're grateful for? Feel free to jump in or put it in the chat if that feels easier.
So we're talking about what we're grateful for.
Yeah.
So, well, a couple of things I've realized lately that, and I've known this for years and years, but I've finally gotten to the place where it's time for me to really work on, totally wrong language, but my vulnerability. You know, I like to control, be in charge. I mean, I can see it. I've been seeing it for years. I'm very good at self-observation and knowing what's going on. And somehow I've put up this idea that someday it'll just take care of itself. Well, no, I finally realized that that's so anyway. So I'm really grateful and or proud, you know, that I've that's gotten my attention in a way that I'm taking that on. And then also I've totally I got some advice to put my career in a certain direction, or the type of work I do in a certain direction, and I've recently listened to myself better and said that's just not it. And so I'm grateful for myself that I'm trusting that and going in that direction. And then I'm grateful for, I wrote down names of several people, including this wonderful group of people, for what all the opportunities and the relationships that's offered me over the years. So is that's what you're looking for right now, right?
That's lovely, Peggy. Thank you. And I just want to acknowledge you for bringing that in and for all you bring, because I've been on your Edgewalker Café in the past, and you bring in a lot of wisdom. So I just want to express gratitude for that. So
Thank you. I have gratitude for what you're bringing today too. Well, yeah, so that's another one. I really appreciate this whole what you're bringing. It's really it's connecting with me, resonating very deeply.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to share something that you've recognized while we were inviting the introspection? Something that you recognized that you, yeah, Rosemary, I see a hand up, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, you're mute, Rosemary. The famous line.
I'm sorry I came late to the table, but I think I came just in time because it makes me aware of the wonderful year that I've had, of the extraordinary ability that I have to manifest what I'm dreaming about. So when you asked, what was your question? What did we manifest that we thought we wanted, or what did we ask for and that we got? So I wanted to see my family together. I have many children and they have children, and on and on. My son orchestrated a family reunion. I didn't have to do it, but it got done. I write. I wanted some essays published. They were. I wanted good health. I fell a couple of years ago and broke my pubic bone in 4 places, so my body had no support whatsoever. I'm finally walking without a walker. I'm feeling good. I'm traveling. I wanted to go back to Ireland, but nobody wanted to go with me. And I thought, I really don't feel like I'm strong enough to go by myself. And then I said, well, maybe if I go, I'll be strong enough to go by myself. So I went and I did, and I had a wonderful.
Wow.
And I
Thank
wanted
you.
met some new friends, and I do have new friends now. But I'll just tell you one short story about one new friend. I'm sitting here looking out my window last winter and thinking I want a playmate. Obviously, there's no playmate. I live alone. So I go downstairs in my condo complex to get the mail, and there's a woman standing right outside the elevated door when I open it. And I say, I just said to myself, I really want a playmate. And she looked at me and she said, what do you want to do? I told her what I wanted to do, and she said, okay, just let me take my bags upstairs and I'll come right down and we'll do it.
Wow.
So I'm just living a very exciting life right now, wondering what's going to happen next.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. It's beautiful. Well,
Thank you.
It's very strong manifesting, Rosemary. I'm in much admiration for the ability to do such a thing so quickly.
And we all have it.
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
if we trust it.
Beautiful.
Maybe one more, and then we'll have a closing blessing. Anybody else like to share something?
Yeah, I can share.
Yeah, lovely, Judy. Thanks.
This was the year I wanted to manifest the Edgewalker Academy. And my idea for the Edgewalker Academy is, we've got the cafes as a way of us getting to know each other and share ideas and share wisdom and share practices. But the academy was designed to take the next step and go deeper with courses and resources and kind of like a spiritual university. And that is about to manifest. It's funny, and maybe you can help me understand in sort of the cycle of the year, that I've tried to do this several times and it just keeps falling through. And then earlier this year, I spent a whole lot of money setting up Sutra and trying to get all of that working, and it wasn't clicking. And then all of a sudden, one conversation, and one of our community members, Sal Selly, and I started talking about his company and he says, I can help you with that. I can help you with that. I can do that. I can do that. And it's like, it was easy. It just all fell into place. It's fun. It's exciting. Rosemary shaking her head. It's like, this push, 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 push. Nothing happens. And all of a sudden it just unfolds and it's easy.
Wow.
So I'm very excited. That'll be something we can announce soon. But the idea is having all of us have a place where we can offer courses for each other without an initial financial investment. It's a revenue sharing model. And so it just makes it easy for us to learn more from each other. And that planting those seeds, I think, enhances our collective growth, which I hope is one small contribution to global consciousness. The other short thing I want to say is I so appreciate this conversation today and tying it to seasons and nature, and this idea of this season of harvest is for inner harvesting, not just the outer harvesting, and to be in alignment with that. I realize how out of alignment I've gotten. And this is like a spiritual chiropractic adjustment. It's brought me back into alignment and it feels so good and so right. So thank you both.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we're just, yeah, Peggy, go ahead.
I will have to get off just a couple of minutes before the top of the hour. So talking about seasons, though, so like right now it doesn't feel like autumn here. Our autumn's a little bit later. So how does that all adjust? Do the dates adjust according to where one lives, or how do I find the calendar that suits my geographical location? And if that's out of line for what you're doing right now, then maybe I can ask you later.
Do you want to answer that, Rhona?
Yes, I could maybe speak to that a little bit, because I live in Scotland, and so everything seems, you know, the wheel of the year has kind of, for some it has set dates in and around where the phase starts and finishes. Some people actually align it to the moons, so the Sabbath might not begin until the first new moon of that phase, if you like. But the other thing I think is that the Sabbath is over those 6-7 weeks, and there's something about using your own intuition and feelings of where am I in that phase. As you say, you know, and the world's a little bit out of whack as well, but you know, are we, what is it that I'm noticing that tells me that I'm moving into the next Sabbath? So for example, back home, as we move into autumn, and there's a big, very, very beginnings of the leaves beginning to turn. So that would be a sign that tells me I'm moving out of this phase into the next phase. But although the dates are kind of set, it's very much, I think it's an inner feeling, it's an inner connection again as to where am I in this phase, along with and along with the rest of the world around me. So it very much varies. You know, it doesn't suddenly, the 1st of May, you doesn't suddenly think, oh right, that's us, it's, you know, it's summertime. So I think it just encourages us to be intuitive in and around that. Does that answer your question, Peggy?
Yeah, just to say as well, they call this the first harvest. So when we move into the kind of autumn equinox, it's the deeper harvest. You know, it's really moving into it. So that might feel more aligned for you. Thank you.
I
So-
have a question,
Yeah,
and maybe you'd get to this, but I'm just so moved and inspired by what you're sharing, and I'd like to learn more and be connected more to what you're doing. Are you going to be doing ongoing workshops, other workshops? How could, if any of us feel the way I do, how do we know more about your work and can learn from you more?
well, we run talking circles, and we might run and we've an ongoing talking circle. In fact, Rhona has 2, and we might run other ones. So if people are interested in being part of, because we move right through the wheel in the talking circles. So when we set one up, we'll let you know. And also we're running our retreat as we'll mention in a few minutes at the end of September 26th to the 28th in Ireland. Rosemary, you might have liked to do that at some point.
Where in Ireland?
In where my sweet spot of the universe in Kinsale, in Sandy Cove, Kinsale in Ireland. So we can put up some information about that. It's called the Sacred Path of the Spiral. It's something that we've been working on for some time. And yeah, we'd like to offer a blessing, and then if there are any other questions, we just to close and you know, bring a sense of connecting and closing together. And then if there are any more questions, we're very happy to answer.
Do you have to make Edgewalker announcements before or after the blessing?
My sense is do the blessing first, because it closes that piece.
Yeah.
And then we can open it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll maybe just add in a little bit. You were asking about how we can connect in. I am in the process of developing a kind of year-long program. It's not really a program, but a connection. So Monica mentioned a journal that she and I used for many years, it's no longer available. And so I'm trying to create something similar. So if anybody's interested in, in connecting in with me on an individual basis and learning more about the Wheel of the Year and how we might interact with it, then I'm more than welcome. You're more than welcome to contact me. So a little blessing for us. So again, just make yourselves nice and comfortable. You may just want to gently close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just hear the words. Edgewalkers, kin of the liminal path, as the first harvest rises golden around us, we honour the balance of light and dark, of what is sown and what is reaped. May this Lammas bless your steps on the threshold between the seen and the unseen, between endings and beginnings. With each grain that is gathered, may you remember that you are the reapers and the sowers, the bridges and the boundaries, the silence and the song. May your inner fire burn steady and wise, and even as the wheel turns toward shadow, may your truths ripen bold and your sacrifices be sacred. Blessed be the work that you do in the twilight spaces, and blessed be your courage to keep walking when the path disappears beneath your feet. On this day of first fruits, we give thanks for the journey, for the edges, and for each other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was so beautiful. Can you send me that? I would love to share that when I share the video. Yeah. I was also thinking I'd love to put it to music.
What's that beautiful? Well,
Yeah, Phil, feel free to use any of the words in a song. You and Alice.
Well, thank you. So you're asking if there's any questions, and then I'll make announcements.
yeah, any questions or anybody would like some further information?
Yeah. Do you have a website? Is there a place I can go to learn more about what you're doing?
We don't have a joint website, but we work together, but we can send our details to Judy and she could pass them on through the network.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, I'll put them in the newsletter. Rosemary, are you on the Edgewalker newsletter?
I suspect I may be because I learned about this from an email.
Okay, yes, then you are. Wonderful.
And I'm in the list of facilitators, the Edgewalker facilitators list, so you could find me there as well.
All right, let me make a couple of quick announcements then as we close. And one is our next Edgewalker Cafe is September 18th, and that is a continuation of a series on the Edgewalker lens to artificial intelligence. It'll be the fourth conversation with a panel of experts on artificial intelligence who are also deeply spiritual and very just a lot of wisdom. They bring a lot of deep questions to the conversation, and that will be an ongoing. It happens every month, so that's September 18th. We'll have the information on the Edgewalker website, and then the following week on the 25th will be a conversation between Patricia Campanile, who has been with me in Edgewalkers for over 20 years, and Hendrik Bakera. Actually, Hendrik goes back. He's from Germany. He's a change agent, and he's been involved for not all the time, the way Patricia has, but he's been kind of in and out of our community for almost 20 years. So I'm not sure what they're talking about yet, but knowing both of them, that will be really thought-provoking, provocative, and inspiring. So those are our next two Edgewalker cafes. We're now doing 2 cafes a month. And then in October, we have a face-to-face retreat here in Arkansas, which is the edge of the North and the South in the United States. It's kind of the edge of East and West. We're just a little below the Mason-Dixon line. It is a blue island in a red sea, and a place where the quartz crystals come from. Is the major source of quartz crystals from around the world. It's a magical place, and we're going to have a wonderful time together. The details are on the Edgewalker website. So I think that's what I have for now. Let me turn it back over to you, Monica and Rhona, and again to thank you for how deeply I personally have been touched, how thrilled I am that we have this as a recording to share with those who couldn't be with us, and my gratitude to all of you who did come today and bring your hearts and your spirits. Thank you so much.
And likewise, I've just put up the slide of our retreat in Ireland. It's the Path of the Sacred Spiral. I just want to say thank you. Well, thank you to you, Judy, and to Rhona, and to everybody who showed up and who has shared and who has engaged the exercises, and those who will check in later with the recording, sending gratitude and hoping that you'll find benefit from it. So thank you. It's been a joy.
And I add my gratitude in for you welcoming into your Edgewalker Café. I've been meaning to join you many times, but the timings of it haven't worked with my work and such like. But hopefully going forward, I'll see more of you. And yes, if any of you are interested in the retreat, then we would love to hear from you. Can send you more information.
Thank you.
So go well. Blessings of Lammas and Lughnasadh.